Hello crafty friends, it's Donna, and you are so welcome here in our little crafty corner of the world. I've got a set of 3 cards to share with you today that use glitter paper as their starting point. I thought I was being wildly experimental. I decided that I wanted a soft watercolour look on these glitter papers, and I worked out that I would be able to do that using some alcohol inks. As it turns out, I didn't invent the technique at all, and had I taken the time to look, I could have found other tutorials on YouTube showing me other ways to do the technique, including one from Jennifer Maguire. So I'm not sure whether I can call this my invention or not. Whatever the case, I was able to get some really pretty effects. I first cut a bit of foam to match the end of my ink blending tool. The Velcro on the tool held onto the felt just fine. You can buy special felt brushes to do this job, but I didn't have the patience to order it and wait for it to arrive, so I worked with what I had. You can also buy special alcohol inks, but once again, what I had was Copic refills, and so that's what I used. The small clear bottle with the black lid is filled with Copic Various ink, which is the colourless blender, and I'm using that to water down the colours and to help them to flow on the paper. I started with the lightest colours and then worked my way up to the brighter and darker colours. These glitter papers are all from Pink & Main's March release. The white paper comes from the Metallics glitter paper set. The yellow paper that you saw with all of the reds and pinks on it at the start of this video comes from the Spring glitter paper set, and we won't talk about what happened to the footage of that being coloured. And this final piece comes from the Fall set. I believe this one is called Copper. The darker colour of this glitter paper meant that it needed completely different treatment. When I first started out, I tried with the ink blending tool, but the colours just disappeared. And so in the end, I used much stronger colours and I poured them directly onto the paper before drying them with my heat tool. It turns out that this glitter paper can stand up to a lot of alcohol ink. I'll try to show you what each of those pieces looks like in the light. Once they were completely dry, it was time to put them onto the cards. I'm using the flower cover dies from Pink & Main, and I cut out a few in various colours. You can see a beautiful burgundy one there on screen, but that didn't end up getting used. I thought it might be nice on the copper paper, but in the end I decided I wanted something a little bit lighter. And now here's my latest fun thing to do: flick at die cuts. Fast, effective, and oh so therapeutic. Once I've decided which part of the glitter paper I want to use, I'm cutting that down to just very slightly smaller than the cover die, so that nothing will stick out the sides. I've used liquid glue to stick the cover die down because I think it's better than tape with the uneven surface that glitter is. I've gone carefully around the outside of the cover die and then just in a few places in the middle, about once per flower, and also on the edges of any petals that might fold up. And then it's just a matter of adding the sentiments. My sentiments today come in 2 parts. The large die cut hello is sadly no longer available, but there are many beautiful die cut words on the market. I'm using a mix of white and Pink & Main's metallics and gold and silver for these sentiments. I then decided that I'd like to add the word friend to the sentiment, so I've stamped that a few times with black on white, and also I've stamped and heat embossed it in white on black paper. That way I can interview them both and see which one I like. I cut the word friend from this Hello Lovely Friend sentiment from Pink & Main's Cherry Blossom stamp set. The squeamish among you will be pleased to know that I lost the footage of me cutting the stamp, so you don't have to witness that. When I heat emboss, I like to use a small scrap of card to move the embossing powder around. I find that it has a lot less static than the small plastic spoons and containers, and my work habits ensure that I always have plenty of scrap paper lying around. Does anybody else's desk head straight for chaos as soon as you look at it? I trust myself with scissors for distances of up to 1 inch, and so once I'd cut the strips, I cut these down to size, decided which ones I wanted, and then popped everything up with foam tape to complete the cards. It turns out that glitter paper is quite tricky to photograph, but I've tried to take some photos that capture the light shining on it and also the colour variation that I was able to achieve. Thank you so much for coming and spending time with me. I really like the challenge of making these videos, choosing which bits of the footage to show you and putting it together, and I hope you've enjoyed your time with me too. If you've enjoyed the video and would like to tell me so, please press the like button. And if you'd like to find out what's coming up next, and it is something completely different, then press subscribe and you won't miss out. Bye for now. Stay safe, everybody.